People always say the internet exposes the truth, but I never imagined the truth about my own boyfriend would reach me through a viral TikTok viewed by thousands before I even knew it existed. I never imagined strangers would hear the ugliest version of me from the man who once swore he loved me. And I definitely never imagined the same man would end up on his knees at my door, sobbing like his entire world collapsed the moment I vanished. Derek and I had been together nearly 3 years. I met him when I was 21, back when I still believed that someone who knew how to fix a garbage disposal was automatically husband material. He gave me his Instagram, I gave him mine, and everything unfolded from there. Texting late into the night, inside jokes, slow Sundays, and a rhythm that felt safe. We had our rituals, Thursday Netflix documentaries, every other Sunday dinners at his mom's, camping trips with his friends every summer. He remembered my birthday, listened when I talked, and showed up when he said he would. After the emotional deserts I'd crawled through before him, this felt like heaven. My ex before Derek thought emotional labor was a childbirth term, so yes, my standards were embarrassingly low back then. Fast forward to this past Tuesday. I was sitting in the break room at work, scrolling through my phone, eating my bland salad, when my friend Amara sent me a text, a TikTok link. And 2 words, call me now. Amara is not dramatic. She once described her apartment flooding as a slight issue. So I clicked immediately. And there he was, Derek, my Derek. At Throwbacks, that dingy dive bar his friends worship on Monday nights. I recognize the neon Budweiser sign in the background because it flickers every 7 seconds. We counted once while waiting for wings. He looked drunk, face red, arm hooked around Xavier, laughing like life never hurt him. Someone off camera asked, "So rate your girlfriend, bro." And something shifted in Derek's face. Not the smile I knew. Something meaner, something smug, like he was about to share a joke with the world at my expense. "Eliana," he said, smirking, "honestly, probably the most hideous girl I've ever been with. Like a 4 on a good day." The bar erupted. "Oh! Savage!" He laughed, kept going. "But hey, she cooks good enchiladas, never complains when I'm out with the boys, so I keep her around. Low maintenance, you know." Low maintenance, like I was a houseplant he forgot to water. Someone asked if he was afraid I'd see it. His response? "Nah, she doesn't even know what TikTok is. Besides, thinking about upgrading soon anyway. Too much baggage." The video was posted at 11:43 p.m. Meanwhile, at that exact time, I was at home texting him goodnight, face covered in a clay mask, completely unaware the man I loved was publicly tearing me apart. The video had 177,000 views, 17,000 likes, countless comments from strangers judging my face, my worth, my existence. And I sat there at work, phone in hand, feeling something inside me freeze and then crack. 3 years together. 3 years of loving him with every soft part of me. And that was what he really thought. The night before, he had been at my apartment. We made dinner, talked about maybe moving in together when my lease ended. He kissed me, told me he loved me, touched my cheek with the same hands that would wrap around a beer bottle hours later while calling me hideous into a stranger's camera. I didn't cry, not then. I just shut down, cold, still a version of myself standing outside my own body. I texted Amara, "Coming over after work, don't tell anyone." Then I muted everything and finished 3 client appointments like a ghost wearing my skin. Instead of going home that night, I went to Target, bought a cheap duffel bag, filled it with the basics: shirts, deodorant, phone charger, $47.16. I still have the receipt. Then I drove to Amara's place and sat in her parking lot for 20 minutes, staring at nothing, replaying the video until I thought I would shatter. When I walked in, Amara didn't ask anything. She just handed me a glass of cheap rosé and pointed to her couch bed. I decided right then, no breakup conversation, no screaming match, no teary, "Why did you do this?" He didn't deserve even that much of me. I was simply going to disappear. That night we made a checklist, block Derek everywhere, change passwords, message work, tell only my mom where I was. By morning, Derek had texted, "What do you want for dinner? You still coming over tonight? Hello?" By afternoon, 12 calls. No apology. No mention of the TikTok. Nothing. Wednesday, Thursday. I stayed at Amara's, numbing myself with trash TV, eating Uber Eats, crying only in the shower so she wouldn't hear. Friday morning, Amara went to my apartment to grab more clothes. Derek had been there, left a jacket on my couch, energy drink cans, a note taped to my door. "Call me. We need to talk." Still acting like I somehow didn't know why. The TikTok disappeared Thursday night, but it didn't matter. People had already screen recorded it. It was everywhere. Even my manager saw it. When I came back to work, she hugged me, asked if I needed more time off. Derek showed up at my workplace during lunch. I hid in the supply closet while my coworker lied for me. And then, this morning, I went to my apartment early, thinking he would be at work. I opened my door. He was sitting on my welcome mat, the one he bought, looking like he hadn't slept in days. When he saw me, he collapsed, not dramatically. His body literally fell apart, knees hitting the ground, hands shaking, tears streaming. "Eliana," he choked out, "please." "I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'd said those things." "I was drunk. The guys were pressuring me. I never meant any of it. Please just talk to me." I stepped past him like he was nothing but a misplaced piece of furniture. "I saw what you really think of me," I said. "There's nothing to talk about." I got my mail, walked back to my car. He followed, still begging. I drove away. So now it's been 8 days, 4 hours, 22 minutes since I saw that video. 8 days since the reality hit me. I was never his partner. I was a placeholder, a convenience, a background character in a life where he was the star. People always talk about heartbreak like it's one big explosion, but mine didn't feel like that. Mine felt like a leaking pipe, slow, quiet, and constant, dripping into every hour of the day until everything inside me was waterlogged. By the time I got back to Amara's apartment after leaving Derek on his knees, I wasn't even crying anymore. I felt emptied, scraped out, like someone had switched off all the lights inside me. The entire drive, my phone kept buzzing on the seat next to me. Derek had moved on to using his mom's phone because apparently running out of dignity wasn't enough. He needed to borrow hers too. I didn't answer. Couldn't. When I walked into Amara's apartment, I didn't even take off my coat. I just sat at her kitchen table staring at the ridiculous fridge magnet that said, "Live, laugh, tequila," trying to remember the last time I'd actually laughed at anything. When Amara came home from her shift around 2, she found me in the exact same position. Coat on, still as a statue, like I'd been paused mid-scene. She didn't ask what happened. Didn't need to. She just set her bag down, grabbed 2 White Claws, lime, the only flavor that matters, and handed me one. Then she asked the one question I had been terrified to answer. "Did you see any red flags before this?" My first instinct was to defend him, to defend a man who had humiliated me in front of the entire internet. Trauma bonding is a hell of a drug. So I said what any delusional, emotionally loyal woman says after years of breadcrumb affection. "No, Derek was good to me." But Amara didn't say anything. She just raised her eyebrows the way she does when she's about to dismantle your entire worldview in one sentence. And then she started asking the real questions. Had Derek ever joked about my appearance? I thought about the time he told me my favorite jeans made me look kind of wide, but in a cute way. The time he said my new highlights looked brassy, like the salon messed up. The times he pointed out celebrities he found attractive. Always tiny girls with perfect tiny features who looked nothing like me. Had Derek supported my goals? He said he was proud when I got promoted, but also told me maybe I shouldn't take the position. Too stressful, he said. He said going back to school would be financially irresponsible. And every time I tried to talk about my future, he'd somehow redirect the conversation back to his. Had Derek held himself to the same standards he demanded from me, I was expected to be on time, calm, patient, understanding. But he could cancel plans last minute, go out whenever he wanted, ignore my messages for hours. If I ever expressed hurt, I was being sensitive. By the time Amara was done asking, I felt like someone had replaced my stomach with a sinking stone. The TikTok wasn't out of character. It was the first time Derek had been honest. Honest without the mask. Honest without consequences. Honest in a room full of people who wouldn't call him out. And as soon as I saw that clearly, the ache inside me changed shape. It wasn't longing anymore. It was clarity. That night, Derek escalated. At exactly 9:17 p.m., Amara's doorbell rang. We froze, like two fugitives caught on camera. Through the peephole, Derek holding the saddest grocery store flowers I've ever seen. Flowers that looked like they came from the clearance bucket. Amara cracked the door just enough to block him. She didn't even let him see inside. "She's not here," she said. I could hear Derek's voice, cracked, desperate, veering between begging and breaking apart. He wanted 5 minutes. Said he hadn't slept in days. Said he'd lost 7 pounds. Said he'd do anything. But Amara didn't budge. She's 5'2" and still somehow scarier than most grown men. After he finally left, she closed the door and found a letter slid underneath. 8 pages, front and back, covered in smudged ink and dramatic declarations. I read it twice. Don't ask me why. Trauma, curiosity, stupidity, all of the above. It was every cliche in the book. He was drunk. His friends pressured him. He didn't mean it. He didn't know why he said those things. He'd spend the rest of his life making it up to me. But there was one line that punched me right in the chest. I said those horrible things because I'm insecure and afraid you'll realize you're too good for me. And for a moment, just a moment, I almost believed him. Almost felt guilty. Almost wanted to call. But then Amara's Wi-Fi died, Xfinity's greatest contribution to my healing, and we ended up scrolling through old photos on my phone instead. And that's when the truth landed like a slap. In every photo from the past year, I was looking at Derek with warmth, with affection, with pride. And Derek wasn't looking at me at all. He was looking at his phone, or the TV, or making some stupid face, or staring blankly in another direction. Not a single photo where he looked at me the way I looked at him. Not one. And that hurt more than the TikTok. Because the TikTok was public humiliation. But the photos, they were evidence of private neglect I had been too in love to see. Sunday morning, Derek started showing up in other places. He went to my brother Miguel's apartment at 7 a.m. My brother, who hates Derek on a cellular level, told him if he showed up again, things would get physical. By that afternoon, I felt hunted, not loved, not missed. Hunted. So I finally did what I should have done days earlier. I wrote the text. Short, direct, cold. I need space. Please stop contacting me, my friends, or my family. I'll reach out if I ever want to talk. I sent it. Turned my phone off for 3 hours. When I turned it back on, there were 5 paragraphs waiting. He understood. He'd respect my boundaries. He'd wait forever. Followed immediately by, when would forever end? Can we get coffee next week? Please don't do this. Respecting boundaries lasted exactly 14 minutes, but the weekend that followed, it was the first weekend in weeks where I felt a sliver of air returning to my lungs. Amara's roommate was out of town, so we had the place to ourselves. We ordered takeout, did face masks, watched all 3 Magic Mike movies for research, and at one point I laughed, like actual laughter that cracked something open in my chest. For 24 hours, I didn't check my phone. And for the first time since the TikTok, I felt like myself again. Or at least, the version of myself that existed before Derek reshaped me into someone smaller. But peace never lasts long in stories like this. Because Sunday night, Derek posted a 4-minute public apology video. The truth is, when someone breaks you publicly, they don't get to heal you privately. They don't get access to your softness after shattering it in front of strangers. And Derek learned that too late, because by the time I confronted him, I wasn't the girl he expected anymore. I wasn't the girl who cried quietly, or waited patiently, or believed that love meant forgiving someone who didn't value me. I had changed in ways he couldn't undo. The final piece of everything fell into place the day I met Xavier at Starbucks. My heart was pounding, but I was calm in a way I'd never been around Derek or his friends. Maybe because I already knew, deep down, that Whatever Xavier was going to tell me would confirm what my intuition had whispered for months. And when he showed me the group chat, the one where Derek planned to break me before dumping me, it didn't feel like heartbreak. It felt like closure. Every message was a puzzle piece clicking into place, revealing a truth I should have seen long before the TikTok ever happened. It wasn't the alcohol. It wasn't the peer pressure. It wasn't an impulsive moment. It was a plan, a strategy, a calculated attempt to make me leave so he wouldn't have to be the bad guy. And suddenly his tears, his letters, his apologies, his sleepless nights, none of them felt tragic. They felt theatrical, a performance for an audience he thought would never see the script. When I confronted him at that cafe, I watched the moment he realized he could no longer control the story. His face collapsed, not because he lost me, but because he lost the version of me who believed him. And when I walked out, when I told him we were done, when I refused to let him rewrite the narrative, something inside me straightened, like my spine had finally remembered its strength. After meeting with Adriana, everything became even clearer. She wasn't my enemy. She was another girl sold the same dream with the same recycled lines from the same man who thought loyalty was optional, but praise was owed. We compared stories, laughed at how similar the lies were, and there was something poetic in that. Two women finding clarity in each other after being manipulated by the same person. She wasn't a threat. She was a mirror, and suddenly, it was easy to let go. The days that followed weren't perfect. Healing never is. I cried sometimes, not because I missed Derek, but because I missed the girl I used to be before him. The version of me who trusted easily, loved deeply, offered softness without fear. Losing that girl hurt more than losing him ever could, but slowly I began to rebuild her, piece by piece, choice by choice. Day by day, I changed my locks, changed my number, took down our photos, boxed his things, removed him from every corner of my life where his shadow lingered. And then I did something small but huge. I reclaimed my space, my coffee table, my playlists, my weekends, my peace. I chose myself in every way I'd forgotten over the past 3 years. The day I received the acceptance letter for my digital marketing certificate, I cried in a way I hadn't since the whole thing began. Not out of pain, but out of pride. I realized how far I'd come from the girl who believed stability came from someone else's approval. That night, my friends came over for a goodbye Derek party. We laughed, shared stories, ate pizza straight out of the box. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't healing. I was living. And that next morning, when Instagram notified me that Derek tagged me in another melancholy post, I didn't even open it. My finger hovered over view, but then the quietest voice inside me whispered, "You don't need to know. You don't need to look back. You're already gone." So I deleted the notification and made my coffee. I stepped out onto my balcony and watched the sunrise spill over the city like a promise I'd been waiting for. And in that moment, for the first time in a long time, I felt free. Not the dramatic kind of free that comes with fireworks or big declarations, but a soft, steady freedom that fills your lungs and unclenches your heart. Derek didn't destroy me. He uncovered me. He revealed the parts of myself I had neglected. He taught me what I will never tolerate again. He accidentally handed me back my own power, and to every girl out there who's been humiliated, dismissed, belittled, or made to feel small, listen to me. You are not his insult. You are not his joke. You are not his regret. You are not his project. You are not his stepping stone. You are the life he won't get to witness, the growth he won't get to claim, the happiness he doesn't get to ruin. Sometimes the trash takes itself out, and sometimes you take yourself out of the trash.